I share with you one more cases. Okay. So this is another case. It says, Jinlong, recently I keep on having um, running nose. And what is the reason? I got patch ice wave, and I drink some of the fever medication. I feel better, but a few days later it come back again, and it it continue to have this kind of cycle. Get better, then worse, then get better, then become worse. And recently I realized that after I shower, right, wow, I have so much of sweat. And then I say, do you wake up in the middle of the night? I say, yes, about 1 to 2 times. Okay. And then I ask, how is your poo-poo recently? And say, oh, nowadays, I keep on diarrhea, 1 day, 2 to 3 times. It's very, very watery. So you see, when we have 3 to 5 p.m. healing, like the lung, right? Okay. When this one get better, for example, this is always how it works. If your body have a lot of water, your lung have a lot of dampness, right? Lung will try to repel all the water. So where does the water go? The water will go through the lung and then go through the mucus, go to your nose. Okay? If too much of water, then it will become diarrhea. Okay? So for those who are very serious cases, you will see diarrhea. But some people, they also wake up in the middle of the night, but they become better bowel already. How come? Some people become diarrhea after having healing crisis, wake up at 3 to 5. Some people, their bowel become better. Better in the sense that no more constipation, the shape is more formed. It's because for people like this, it's less serious. So the body is able to get rid through the sweat, through the nose. So when all the water has go through sweat and nose, right, your body become better. Okay, so this the seriousness of how much of dampness is in someone's body, right? It's very hard to say, man. Like for example, these cases, right? I say, okay, wake up in the middle of the night and then he might have diarrhea. One more question I should ask is, do you feel tired in the morning after the diarrhea? Normally, the people will say, no, no, I don't really feel tired. Okay, and this is a good sign. And this is a typical way of removing dampness, very normal. Don't take medication. Let them out. If you look at your joint, do you find that you can touch the bone easier? And she actually shared with me the photo that her face looking sharper. But this is the second thing. When the water retention reduce, right, the bone on your knee also become more obvious. Yeah, now my kneecap, but I can start to feel my kneecap already. They mean last time the kneecap is quite swollen. Now after the water retention being repelled, right, can start to feel the knee joint already. I said, oh, congratulations, your body is heavily removing the dampness. And then I asked, do you have any experience that the body got cold and then you went for a winter country or you in a forest, you are caught in the rain? So again, many, many years ago have, but only go for travel. That one is still young. And also, not many times that she have really caught under the rain. I say, that time, do you really cold until shiver? And do you remember at least about 2 weeks time you were very cold until you shiver? And it's 2.5 hours later I realized, because I remember there was one time when we met, and then she talked about the negative ions apparel that she stopped using it already, and then she started to see all these kind of changes coming in. Yeah, then I remember because last time she used to tell me when she was in a hospital taking care of her son, it's so cold, so she had to use the negative ions apparel to keep warm. So, and that time is about 3 months time. So I recall, oh yeah, do you remember when you were taking care of your son in the hospital, you always need to sleep in the hospital and very cold? And Jinlong, good afternoon. I'm so grateful you still remember my days that I'm taking care of my children, my son in the hospital. It's almost about 3 months. Yes, and it's very, very cold at night. Guys, can you see the trace? So when customers say, no, I don't remember, but sometimes, right, deep down, there is something that don't know. It just takes some time for them to realize. It's the same thing. That it takes some time for them to realize. Okay? Do you think it's quite magical or not? Do you think it's quite magical that you are able to understand your body to this extent that by knowing you that you got cough and then recover, got cough and recover. If you got cough on flu and then you recover, it never come back. That is infection because you build back the immunity and antibody already. But if you keep getting the flu over and over again, right, it is not infection. It is one way for the body to repel the dampness. And through only this, right, we can start to say that you wake up in the middle of the night. Yes. Do you find your poo-poo is any changes? Yeah, very watery. And can you find that you can see the bone better? Yeah, I can see my bone better. And now she recall, oh yeah, that night, that time 3 months that I was so cold. Now it's removing the dampness. Do you think it's quite magical that our body can function this way? And the thing is, we can actually know about this. If you think, wow, amazing, we can find out like a detective, you type 555. You type 555. So now I'm going to show you her pictures, okay? Okay, I never asked a permission, so what I'm going to do is, um, I I will cover. Okay, I will cover. Oh, cannot lah. This one cannot cover. If cover is a bit is a bit uh cannot. This one cannot cover because cover already cannot see the face already. It's amazing, right?